Welcome to Hindsight Hacking. I'm Corey Carter.
And I'm Ron Cool, and you are listening to Hindsight Hacking, where we have talked to hundreds of entrepreneurs hacking their hindsight to give you clearer foresight.
And now, as we still bring you the same great, amazing interviews each and every week, we are adding bits and pieces to serve you in such a great way. These bits and pieces are some mindset hacks, visibility hacks, traffic hacks, and more on the Daily Hack. So we want to make sure that you have all the tools and all the resources that you need to gain more visibility and gain more traffic.
And obviously, to get more sales. So head over to gethhm.com/toolbox to grab your free resources to get the help you need to get more.
And if you're interested, after you collect all those freebies, because they're amazing, hit the link in the show notes and jump on our calendar, because we definitely want to help you.
Guys, we absolutely love the community that we've created with your guys' help, and we love all the Hindsight Hackers. So jump on in and get on our calendar.
So without further ado, what do you say? Let's get to it.
What is going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of Hindsight Hacking and another episode of our Members Spotlight in our Facebook group. So if you're not watching, where are you? If you're listening on the show, head on over to the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/profits with, and you could be one of our featured members down the road and share everything you do and everything that you're about. And so today we have a very special guest, Miss Queenie Way, and she is a social entrepreneur, investor, and wealth accountability coach at Soul Vibe Capital. And she is the proud new host of Wealth Chats podcast, currently sitting number 22 on the US charts, number 4 in Canada. And, this is day 3. So anybody out there, if you haven't listened to it yet, head on over to iTunes, head on over to your favorite Apple listening podcast platform and download. I think we're up to episode 13 today. So download all 13 episodes, rate, review, and subscribe, and get everything you can from Queenie and her guests. So without further ado, Queenie, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys so much for having me on and for helping me get here.
Oh my gosh. No, we are so excited to just kind of see, we want to celebrate with you. So we're like, what better way to do it than like do a show about it since you just launched? But before we get into it, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about Queenie?
Yeah, so, thanks for the intro, Corey. For me, I'm really about giving power back to the people, and I do that through financial literacy, helping them level up that financial lit game, and laying the foundation for generational wealth. So that's what I'm about. That's what I focus on, because I think it's so simple and people just need to know, remove the noise and jargon and start.
Yeah. So 99%, right? Like that's, you're giving back 99%. You've got a Facebook group. I believe that, I don't know what the exact name is, 99% Tribe, but definitely like that's the slogan in there. And so tell us, like, I know you want to share what the 1% has to everybody. And so tell us, what does the 1% have that you're sharing with the rest of us folk?
Absolutely. So the group is financial literacy for the 99%. I've been taught that works better than just calling it the 99% tribe. But that's what I call them because I want to serve the 99. The 1%, they're good, right? And as much as they will share with you, they won't necessarily spill the tea, so to speak, because they want to hoard that for themselves. So generally what I share are the 5 core principles that I talk about, which is banking, debt, credit, investment, and insurance. So as your wealth foundation, you have earnings, you have your business, your personal finance, but you're also protected. Right. So I bring those things. It's simple. Like, for example, you can start investing with $1. Don't put too much money in your savings account because you're losing it every single day to inflation, your hard-earned dollar. I had a client that the student, she had over 80K in her savings account, and I pretty much cried. I was like, do you know how much you could be making or just not even losing that much? So we share the simple, practical applications as well as the wealth mindset and your relationship with money. And that's one most people always miss because they don't know they have one. And if you don't define it, it's going to drive you crazy and you're going to be chasing money all your life.
So true. It's funny because I have a much different relationship with money than my wife has with money. I don't worry about money. She worries about money. She's very much to the penny on everything. And I'm like, we'll make more type of person. Like, you live once, let's go have some fun type person. Mm-hmm. She is not. She is not, right? And there's so many conversations that were like the opposite ends of the money spectrum. How do you deal with people like that? Not dealing with her, but like couples that are like,
okay, I would be like your wife in that situation. But I think it's understanding where each other are coming from, because money is not often talked about. First off, I am glad you guys are talking about it because there needs to be transparency, especially with your partner. You can't assume what someone else thinks or knows about money. One of the things we do is to have a conversation, but the intention is to get curious. It's not to put blame. It's to understand why they think they do, right? Like, I'm very big on no money shaming in my group. Like, I will kick you out if you money shame anyone, because everyone's in different stages. Like, for me, I spend a lot of money on takeout and ordering food. And that's known as a bad practice or waste of money.
I would like to do that,
right?
Right?
But the thing is, when I was a teen, there were 3 years where my mom, all she brought me was takeout. Like, that was my lunch, breakfast, dinner. So to me, buying takeout, I had to discover it was actually reliving a part of her love. Like, I wanted to relive a part of that. So while other people were shaming me for spending too much money, that's what was happening on the inside. So to answer your question, it's to have a conversation, but purely to understand. And you can be different. That's the thing. Husband and wife can have different meanings of wealth, but you need to know what that is with each other and create it together.
So I heard I was right. That's all I heard.
You're like 50% right. Yes.
Rachel would beg to differ. So you mentioned something earlier that if you had $1, you could go invest it. And so I love that because so many people, they wait. And I was one of them. I'm way too old I should have started 20 years ago, but I didn't. And so I want my son, like, he already has some stock and I want to like help him build different things that I didn't. So you have $1. What do you, I know this is not financial advice, anybody listening or watching, but yes. What do you go invest in?
Yes, thank you for that. Disclaimer, it is not financial advice. It is educational and a little entertainment.
Entertainment.
So, right. So with $1, you have to shift your mindset when it comes to investing. Number one, people think investing is sexy. It's buying stocks and it's making big bank and you're retiring. That is not the game. The game of investing is how to not lose money. So number one, and when you start, nowadays we have so many apps. We didn't have this 20 years ago. You could not actually invest $1 20 years ago. But now you can use any apps and get started, whether it's index funds or even mutual funds, which I'm not a fan of, or individual stocks. Like, for example, in the US, there is an app called Stockpile. not supporting it or anything, just giving out a name and resource, you can buy a fraction of a stock. Right. So for example, Amazon is like, 1,700, Tesla 600. You can own a portion of it. So when I say you can start with $1, Corey, you hit the nail on the head. It's about starting early. Compound interest will build. Also, you're paying to practice. You're paying $1 for the entry fee to practice, because wealth finance is about discipline. It is never about how much you make, but what you do with the dollars and cents that you have. There's a lot of broke millionaires out there. We just don't want to talk about them.
Right. You don't see them on Instagram.
They're all on Instagram. They rent the high-end cars. They take the picture and pretend it's theirs. Those are the guys.
That is such a funny story. So literally, and I've told this story before, but it's perfect. I got a cup of coffee one day, and I was walking back to my car, and there was a brand new Ferrari with temporary tags on it in the parking lot. So I took a picture, like holding my cup, like this, a selfie, and the brand new Ferrari's behind me. And I said, "Great day for a cup of coffee." That's all I said, right? And everyone's like, "Oh, great looking car." I was like, "It's not mine."
Exactly.
Right? It's so funny. It's so funny. Okay, so let's talk about stocks and all this stuff, because I'll tell you where I have an issue. I have decided I commit to whatever I buy. Up, down, doesn't matter. Like, it's mine. I have a problem selling high. Like, I don't know if you talk about that or if that's a good practice or not a good practice. I hear it. I don't know. But I don't sell high because I'm always thinking it's going to go higher. And then all of a sudden it drops like tremendously. I'm like, oh, dang it. Should have sold high. Right?
You mean like the crypto market this week?
Right.
What?
Like crypto.
You mean like the crypto market?
Exactly, like crypto. So here's a funny story. Not promoting any coins or anything. Okay. I have some Doge coins, however you say it, Doji coins. And at 71 cents, I was ready to push sell. I was like ready. I was watching SNL because I figured it would tank after it, right? And I'm like ready. And it started going down. I was like, it'll go up. And then all of a sudden it was 20 cents again. I was like, dang it, I missed it. Right?
Yeah.
How do you get people like that?
Here's the thing. There's two things when it comes to investing, if you will, that most people confuse. There is trading, which is gambling. Then there's investing, which is long-term, right? Value investing long-term is what will increase your overall net worth. Trading or gambling is what creates the initial cash flow. So they have their time and place, but so many people confuse one with the other. So in your case, when you're talking about, you're committed, that's actually great. That's one of the fundamental principles of value investing, because when you invest, number one, you're voting with your dollar. Number two, you are part owner. Like, you actually own a piece of the company. It's not just, hey, I bought a stock. It's, oh, I'm a part owner of Apple, of Tesla, of, whatever company it is. So you are voting with your dollar. But in terms of quote unquote timing the market, no one can. I'm so sorry to break the news.
Well, I think unless you're like an official day trader making money and selling and buying all the time every day, I think those are the only people that can do it. Those of us that have other jobs and do different things that does not include that, we will never time the market. We need to be in it for the long
run. I'll text Corey. I was like, right? Did you see that? And he's like, yeah.
I'm like, it's down. Let's buy more.
I was like, let's sell all of it.
But you know what's interesting, Corey, is that even professional traders, nobody knows.
Right.
We assume they do, but they don't. What gets them ahead and helps them stay ahead of the curve is the volume, right? As individual traders like you and me, we have maybe a few hundred, a few thousand, or a few million. But these guys have billions and trillions to play with. That makes a drastic change in the market. But do they actually know? No.
No.
This is why everything has indicators. So when I say how much or how not to lose money is as soon as it dips, it depends on where you are, right? You may want to sell or, like Ron said, hold for the long term. But the question I have for you is you're actually asking the wrong question.
Oh, dang it.
Ooh.
Dang it.
Think of it this way. I'm going to relate this back to marketing because you guys are, experts in that.
Okay.
It's like when someone tells you, hey, I just used 20 hashtags and I'm going to get the hack, right? I'm going to grow, right? Right? Your response is, well, let's look at the overall strategy. What are your goals? What are you actually trying to achieve? What are you doing? Right? People do the same thing with investing and trading. They look at the tactics, not the overall strategy, which is the direction. There are 1,000 ways to trade and invest. It's all a matter of what you want. And I struggled so long with this. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I was so focused on one strategy, which is value investing, that I missed out on a whole nother. And then it was only, I think, 2-3 years ago that I realized, oh shit, I could do both. Why can't I do both? Even though they're different strategies, but they're for different things. Right?
Yeah, no, that's so true. So true.
So
for right now, hold on to that Doge.
Oh yeah, I have
it's
to.
dipping.
I have to because it's dipping.
Yeah, don't want to. We're not going to sell for a loss.
No, we have a plan to buy a Tesla with it, so that we have to keep it till we can buy the Tesla.
Yeah,
there you go.
So let's talk about Soul Vibe Capital a little bit more, and what's the business and the whole plan, and obviously you're helping the 99%, but what's the why would people go to Soul Vibe Capital and work with you and all that?
Yeah, so Soul Vibe Capital, what we do right now is we help you remove money, stress, and confusion to lay the foundation for generational wealth. What does that mean, right? So number one, we help people that want to learn to make their money work for them. Because I realize not everybody actually wants to do that. But the people who do want their money to work for them, so working eventually becomes optional or not at all, we teach the art of leverage, the 5-course principle. So basically what we do is we educate you. My promise to our students is you leave educated and empowered to make your own financial choices. Because you can. Really, it takes 8 weeks to lay your foundation and then you are good. Then you just have to keep working it. Like that is it. We tend to think it's so hard. Only smart people can do it. I'm really not that smart. And math was a struggle for the longest time, even though I'm Asian. It's a little weird, but bear with me. Bear with me. Simple math, like playing cribs, I can't. It's a struggle, but VC math, like selling business and stuff and stocks, I'm like, okay, I'm good. Okay. It's a very weird dichotomy.
You got the hard math down. The easy math is the difference.
Yeah, I struggle with that. Yeah. So we actually have a mission at Soul Vibe Capital, and it's to help 1,000 families or individuals level up their financial literacy game. And that's honestly the focus, what we do. And we walk through it with you. That's the thing, because for me, I feel like it's one thing to give you a plan, but I was stuck for years trying to figure out which brokerage and which account to start investing in. And I don't want people to have the same. So we teach you these fundamentals, these cores, what the 1% thinks, and more importantly, how they think. It's all about teaching you how to fish, right? If you want the fish given to you, we're not the best fit, right? And that's okay, because I respect people in different stages and different journeys. So whether you're $50,000 in debt, like I do with the students, whether you've had to file for bankruptcy, or you have 80K sitting in a savings account just chilling, right? We can work with you. And my goal is, again, to me, it's about giving freedom and power back to the people. That's what I think financial literacy will do.
No, I love everything you're saying. And that's why we love working with you, because you're trying to impact the world. It's not about chasing the dollar for you. And that's what we value, especially in our group. So it's awesome. But I do want to touch base on something you just launched this week. that's doing pretty
Yeah.
well, right? So you launched Wealth Chats, where it's a ton of value weekly through a podcast that you just launched, and currently you're at 22, right, in US charts. But let's talk about that process.
Oh, that was, I swear, thank you guys again for your patience. I honestly feel like I was your worst client ever.
Not enough.
There's like, you send me messages, I open, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to do that. And then I forget. And you prompt me, I'm like, oh crap. But
the only thing it made was for things to happen like last second, which
is the best thing. That's how Corey and I work the best, even though we don't like it. But we're like, it's due tomorrow. Sweet. Now let's get to work, right?
Yeah. Honestly, the process itself was smooth, despite like I like that it was simple to follow. Like it wasn't anything that I had to do that was hard per se. And you guys were there every step of the way, even when I fell face flat. You guys were messaging me like, hey, what can we do to support? What can we do to support? So, I think that honestly carried me through. Oh. And then the launch days, of course, were like, okay, final bits of information, getting it there. It was really exciting. And number one, I am not a morning person, but that morning I was up at like 6. I'm like, okay, let's start promoting. And I went for like 2 hours straight.
Wow, nice.
I started like Instagram stories, and I went to Facebook stories and tagging, and then I did my posts, and then I started the messaging, but it was fun. So it went from like, I'm excited, we're going to start this process. Oh my God, what is going on? Oh wait, there is help. Oh my God, what are we doing? Okay, it's launched. It's exciting now. That was the journey. It's like a stock chart. It
is like a stock chart. But you never have to sell high because we're always here for you. It's perfect.
But you're going to be in it for the long term, and it's going to pay off big time. The compound interest is going to be there for you.
Good tie-in. Good tie-in.
That was good.
So, but let's talk about what the show is about, because when you hear Wealth Chats, you think, oh, is she just going to be talking about banking, debt, credit, investment, insurance? And you're like, no, I am going to be talking about a whole bunch of other stuff. And so for anybody that goes and hears the first 13 episodes, they'll know you're going to talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. But share what that is and what the show is about, and who you're going to bring on for guests. And when you're doing solos, what are you hoping to teach?
Absolutely. So Wealth Chats is where the money conversations happen. It is my core belief that you cannot learn something if it's not talked about. And unfortunately, money is still a very taboo subject in different places of the world, also different ethnic backgrounds. Like in my culture, it is very rude to talk about money. But that's why everyone does all of these weird things. And I wanted to create a safe space where people can just share their journeys. We can see, hey, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. Like we started pretty, sketchy over here. So the podcast, it does cover a range, even though it's money and wealth focused. But that's because money is in so many different areas of our life. So I want people to share their journey. I want them to feel okay. And if you don't have that space available to talk about money, you go to Wealth Chats. It's a safe, judgment-free zone. Like you will never be judged or shamed, because I honestly believe there is nothing wrong with where you are at right now within your own journey. And there's an opportunity for you to grow if you want. So that is like my core purpose and objective of Wealth Chats, is just a place for you to talk about money, to learn, and to feel safe. We need more of that, like in the world. So, and now it's live.
No, but it's a great show. Like if anybody that's listening that hasn't checked it out, please go check it out. Wealth Chats on Apple podcast. But it is a really good show, and it's super informational. And I know, just like our show, you're gonna be listening to it, and guess what? One of those will start to resonate with you. The second it resonates with you, because you're sharing amazing stories, that's when the learning actually starts, because you kind of you claim it as your own, if you will. This is my podcast that I listen to. And I'm telling you, anybody that is wanting to learn about money or have a safe space about money, definitely Wealth Chats for sure.
Yes. All right.
Thank
So
you.
I want to talk about one of your guests that you had on before we move on to a different subject of Wealth Chats, and that is the two brothers that are
Yes.
16 years old, and I would butcher their names if I tried to pronounce it at the moment. But talk about like what some people out there are doing, and how, again, if you have $1, it doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter where you live. Like there's so many things that a person can do now to start building financial wealth. But yeah, talk to us about those two guests that you had.
Yes. So I think they're friends or cousins. No, I think they're just friends, but they happen to have the same last name. It's really funny.
Wow.
So it's Pravar and Arnav, and they are 16 and 17-year-old boys in high school down in the States. And man, they are so close to my heart, and I love it because, Corey, like you said, once we learn it or that switch turns on, we all wish we started 20 years ago. It's like when you have found a new door, that's the first indication. I should have started 20 years ago. That's number one. But for these guys, they're 16, and their journey was really innocent and simple. They weren't struggling in debt or anything. It was COVID. They're bored in school, and someone just happened to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. One of them.
The gateway drug.
Yeah. And he was ready to receive, though, right? Like they were open to learn. And then they realized, why is nobody talking about this? Everyone's like running around trying to get ready for college to go into debt, but nobody's talking or teaching us how to think. You know what the crazy thing is? They don't even have a job yet right now. They're not even making income, and their mindset is already incredibly powerful because it's all about how they think. So it's crazy when they start making income, they are going to have all of these areas. And I love their story and example because it shows like any age is possible. But here's the difference. They made a choice. Right. And financial literacy is a choice. And sadly, well, not sadly, but no one can make that for you. You have to be willing to receive in order to give it. Otherwise, it's like someone shoving, geometry down your throat. I hate math. I hate school math.
So. No, I love that, and it's a great episode, and it's crazy because I actually thought they were brothers because they're last names.
I know. I did too.
That's so crazy. I don't run into a lot of people named Cool unless they're part of my family. So but I love, and I'm probably going to say this later. You talk about just start. Don't worry about the age. Just start.
Yes.
Just continue moving forward. Do you run into a lot of people that you have to talk them off that ledge? Oh, because I know the talk process could end up with, well, I didn't start 20 years ago, so why even bother?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. One of my students, actually, she's 56, just declared bankruptcy, and we're working together to still lay her foundation. So it is 1,000% still possible. It just looks different. Here's the thing. Starting late puts you, like, I'm going to be honest, it puts you at a slight disadvantage in terms of compound interest.
Right.
But unless you are 90 years old talking to me, you can do something. Even at 90, there is always time, right? People are more hesitant to start because they don't know what to do, or there's so much shame and guilt. Yes. That's the part to remove, right? So when I started, I actually was only focused on the application portion. But after working with several students and seeing their needs, I added in the mindset portion. I added in the relationship with money portion, because I feel like you need to clear what's in the past. You actually have to clear it. And it's one of those weird things. I didn't learn how to feel my emotions till like 2 years ago. I'm not gonna be
I
ashamed to
know
admit
exactly
it.
what you mean. No, I know exactly what you mean by
Right.
that. I know exactly
Thank
what
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I had to do a lot of, self work to get there. And that I realized the only way to release is you have to feel the icky stuff. And it's same with money.
Right.
So late, and I tell her the same thing, like 50, 60, you're probably going to live till 6 or to 80 and 90. That gives you 20 years.
Right.
That gives you 20 years of compound interest. And 20 years is still pretty damn good.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, hindsight hacking. We have to talk about hindsight a little bit, and I know that's probably a huge conversation for people. Like in hindsight, I wish I would have started 20 years ago, but you didn't. So start today. That's no better time than now. But in hindsight, and thinking about the people that you have worked with at Solvive Capital and the challenges that each individual has faced and the wins that you've seen, like in hindsight, what's one piece of advice that you like hope people can discover, and whether they discover it before they work with you or if they never meet you, like what's the one piece of thing that they can discover with what you've seen over the last few years with Solvive Capital?
It's a choice. Number one, they have power and choice in their finances. Doesn't matter if you're in debt, if you have millions invested. What I want people to truly get is you can choose how to spend your money, and don't let other people dictate that. Other people can give you advice and everything, but I want everyone, and especially the people I've worked with, to have that choice come from them. What do they truly want? And then tie it to a number, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Right? I want people to have the freedom to create. And I'm going to give you this short example here. It's like when people talk about budgeting is restrictive. I find it incredibly restrictive because you are only thinking about what you have as opposed to cash flow and what you want to create.
Right.
It removes the limitation. And I want people to know that money is a tool. Yep. It's all a matter of how you use it. How important is a nail to a carpenter? Quite important, but there are multiple nails. I don't need this one to build something. Right. I'll eventually get
use a screw.
Or that. Yes.
Right.
Right. But ultimately, those are I would say the three things I want everyone to know is that money is a tool. You have the power to choose, and there is nothing wrong with you.
Right. Love it.
And
love it.
Yeah.
No, I love it. And I think that's brilliant. I know there's a ton of people listening today. They're like, I need to get with Queenie. Like, I need this help. Where can they connect with you? How can they get involved? How can you help them get over their money relationships?
Absolutely. So you guys can find me on Facebook, Solvive Capital, our group, Financial Literacy for the 99%, Instagram as well, and of course, Wealth Chats on Apple Podcasts right now to join the conversation. All the resources are there. Also, our website, Solvive Capital. There's several resources we have. For example, there's a retirement framework, or even for your exit number, there's a free ebook that you guys can get started on, and you don't even need me. Because that's my end goal. I don't want you to want me forever. I want you to want me enough. And then you feel comfortable and empowered to be on your own way.
Yep. Love it.
Love it. And, Ron and I, we often teach people how to work ourselves out of a job. So I love that you have that same mentality. It's if you can give, and then people can decide no, I still want, Queenie, for the accountability and for the conversation and the right person to be around. Right. But if I know how to do it because Queenie's not there, that's even better. Right. Then it's a win-win. So love that. All right, Queenie, it's been a blast having this conversation. And I think that there's going to be some big things happening with Solvive Capital in the future, and some big things happening with Wealth Chats. So anybody out there, stay tuned because you're not going to know what you're going to see soon. So but thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. And guys, if you're launching a podcast, get with these guys. I could not honestly hit the charts without them.
Oh, thanks, Queenie. We'll talk soon. Thanks for coming.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, everybody. I hope you got more than you expected, because when you heard or saw Wealth Chats, you probably thought we were, maybe just talking crypto, like a lot of people are right now, or we were going to talk just the boring stuff that some people just don't talk about. But no, Wealth Chats is about so much more. So with that being said, Ron, I assume you've got one or two takeaways for us.
Well, I've got three. The first one's the most important. I'm right. So I've got to have a conversation with Rachel to let her know that.
You're like, watch this episode.
Yeah, my way is the right way. I'm going to edit it so it's going to all sound perfectly where she says I was right. It's going to be awesome. So I'm just going to use that. But no, one thing, like this takeaway isn't just for wealth or just for entrepreneurs. It's for anything that you want to do. Just freaking start. And don't beat yourself up that you didn't start earlier. Don't beat yourself up. Never look back. Just start and move forward. Right? There's a lot of things that get stuck in your head that stop you from moving or you carry along with you. So that's just irrelevant. Just let it go and start now, whatever that is. Okay. If it's money, start. If it's investing, start. If it's a podcast, start. If it's your entrepreneurial journey to follow your passion, start. Don't blow up everything else in your world to start it, but start and make progress. Let's see. God, there's so much. I'm going to do a takeaway that I don't normally do. If you are struggling with your relationship with money and you need advice, connect with Queenie. Just connect with her. Like that, I'm telling you, get involved in her world, get in her Facebook groups. You will be better off and you will feel so much better. I know if you have money problems, you probably don't sleep very well and it affects everything else. Like take care of that part of your life.
Well, and just to add on that, right? Like she provides a safe place. There's no money shaming, right? Like if you want takeout every day for multiple meals and you can actually figure out why, then do it. Like it's the right thing. Figure out. So if you start and then you find a safe place to talk, right? Like then you'll be able to take that $1 and start making moving forward with everything. So head on over to Soul Vibe Capital. You can learn more about everything Queenie's doing. You can also see there's a button to take you directly to the Wealth Chats podcast, currently sitting number 22 on the US charts and hopefully climbing still today. So that's it, everyone. If you're in our Facebook group, Profits With, then you know what? You could be on this show as well. It's a member spotlight group. Any entrepreneur that has a way and a will and a desire to impact the world, then Ron and I want to talk to you and promote kind of what you've got going on. But if you're just out there to make a buck, probably not the right fit to be around us in the group or anywhere else. So everyone, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And we will see you on the next episode.
I think I'm going to McDonald's.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you had as much fun as I did. And you know what? If you're not already a member of our Facebook group, what are you waiting for? Head on over facebook.com/groups/profits with.
Guys, we are super excited to have you be a part of our community and help you get more visible, get more traffic, and get more sales.
That's right, Ron. And every time someone is in our group, we get to share all the tips, the tricks, and everything that you can get profits with from your summits, your challenges, your workshops, your podcast, your vodcast, and so much more.
Guys, thanks for being